Hello and welcome to Communication Connection. I'm your host, Terry Likes. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, for Mississippi State University Athletics and the Southeastern Conference, there never really is an off season, and there are always exciting things going on. And much of what we see, hear, and read about comes from our guest and his team. Brandon Langlois is our guest, who is the Senior Associate Athletic Director for Communication and Content. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us here on Communication Connection.
Appreciate you having me. Excited.
You are a Department of Communication graduate, specializing in public relations and broadcasting, well suited for your job today. But let's go back to those college days. Tell us about maybe an experience or two that shaped where you are today.
Well, I think my time in athletics was absolutely massive, and kind of stumbled into that toward the back end of my college career. Didn't really know what I wanted to do, knew that I wanted to do something in PR, journalism, or broadcasting. An opportunity came in the athletic department. At the time, I think they called it media relations, which has since transformed into communications. And that really, that was an experience of a lifetime, just getting an inside look at the college sports world. And that semester in particular, 2014, I believe, that fall, Dak Prescott was our quarterback. Team was #1 in the country. College game day was in town. It was just an electric environment on our entire campus in our department. And then I think just the courses too that were provided here. Really, when I think back to it, anything writing really can open up so many doors in so many other areas in what we're trying to do to communicate, storytell, create content, share messaging. And while my job is PR, you have to work a lot with journalists, obviously. And so taking those journalism courses, I think, was kind of an underrated aspect of positioning yourself to be a good PR professional. And then those courses also helped you with that writing. So a lot at that time that really I can look back to that helped shape me and prepare me for the position that I currently am in today.
And we'll talk more about that in a moment, but upon graduation, you were able to stay in the SEC by gaining that first job, but it means moving up to Fayetteville and the University of Arkansas. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, it was a terrific experience. First job, I think we all probably remember our first jobs. That was supposed to be a 1-year postgraduate internship up there, ended up turning into, a 3-year stay. Knew nothing about it, knew nothing about the state. 8 hours away, had never lived outside of the state of Mississippi in my life. Grew up in Madison, 2 hours away from here. But I knew the people that I was going to go work with there, and I knew that at the time, the people I was going to go work with and for were among some of the brightest minds in athletic communications and across the department. And so was able to really get kind of that next level experience, like a bit more than what I had here as a student, just because it was a full-time job. When you're a student, you're coming into the office here and there, you're working games and whatnot, but it was massive for me to be able to, from I shouldn't say 9 to 5, because our job's really not 9 to 5, but you have to learn how to come into an office every day, learn how to prepare for work every day. You're on a schedule, like there's no classes, there's no school, like it's all this all the time. And that was big, and it helped me see kind of how you work with coaches, how you work with student athletes, how you work with our TV partners at ESPN and SEC Network, and so really good experience there. Really enjoyed my time up there. Really thankful for the people that I was able to learn from and work with there. And I think there's also the relationship aspect. You built some relationships professionally, but you also built lifelong friendships. And I got married a month ago, and 4 people that I met during my time up there were in my wedding. So it's just awesome to see the relationships that you build in this business along the way, both personally and professionally.
Well, and congratulations.
Thank you.
So 2018, job opens up here in Starkville, Associate Director for Communication. What enticed you to this role and to come back to Starkville?
Yeah, great question. My background, I guess, at the time was kind of in football communications. That was what I got into when I went to Fayetteville. This was a football communications type job. I knew the people that I was coming back to work for were some of the people that I worked with as a student, and so that was a plus. And I think it made sense professionally and personally. It's a rare combination when you get to work for really good people that you know and trust, and many of those people that I even still consider mentors to this day. And then you get to be close to family. Arkansas provided me an opportunity to get away from maybe all I knew and go experience other things. But I felt like it was the right opportunity to take on a new challenge and continue to develop in my career. And that job opened up that door. And I really felt good about what I had learned up there in Arkansas. And I wanted to help try to bring some of that back here to Mississippi State. And I feel like we've been able to do that. So it's a dream come true to be able to work in sports, and it's even more of a dream to be able to do it in the state that you grew up in and the place that you spent your college years, your alma mater.
So you oversee communication and content for athletics. Tell us more about that. What's a day in the life like?
Well, there's no day that's really the same. I know that sounds probably really cliche, but it's everything from PR to strategic communications to planning to messaging, crisis management, storytelling, helping aid our coaches in recruiting. Now, in the most pivotal time in college athletics, it's about helping athletes build their brand and get their stories out there and get their message out there. So there's so many things involving content and just how we can tell the story of Starkville, the best small town in the South, back-to-back years. Mississippi State Athletics, our student athletes, we want to aggressively and boldly share their achievements to our fan base that's just starving to learn more about who they are. And now more than ever, it's so important to help connect athletes in the programs with the fan base. And so that's a main focus, for us in day to day. Again, no day is the same, but that storytelling, content planning, creation, messaging, just constant communication with our constituents is, everything.
Well, and to take it one step further, a lot of exciting news surrounding the baseball team recently, hiring a national award-winning coach. Absolutely. And you played a major role in your team in shaping the media coverage for that announcement as well.
Absolutely. I guess in late April, we had a change in leadership. Those are never easy. But you fast forward 6 weeks, and I feel like Zach Selman made a home run hire, hiring a national champion, a Hall of Famer, a proven winner, a elite developer, of talent. I could not think of a better coach with a better resume that Zach could have brought in to usher in a new era of this program. Coaching searches and planning for those are challenging because you never know. You never know how things are going to go. Fortunately, in I guess 10, 11 years of doing this, I've had some experience and many on our team have, of planning for those, implementing certain things, telling those stories. So you have to be prepared. You have to be well equipped, and I feel like we were. There was a lot to sell about Coach O'Connor and his history of who he is, his achievements, his accomplishments. There's a lot to sell too about Mississippi State and Dudy Noble Field, and blending those two together, a historic program with rich history and tradition, and in the same light, a coach that has rich history and tradition, himself, and what he accomplished at Virginia for 22 years, basically, built that program himself. So our fans have been awesome. They've been engaged in everything that we've tried to put out to promote that hire, promote our program. There's a ton of momentum surrounding the hire. We're able to host thousands of people at Dudy Noble Field just days after he was announced. awesome event, well put together. Shout out to our fan experience team and others in administration for really being the drivers of making that happen. And then from a coverage standpoint, we were proud to put out, I think a couple weeks ago, that just in a 1 week alone, all content related to Coach O'Connor had generated 7.5 million, social views. So the future is very bright for Mississippi State baseball under his leadership, and we're excited. I think this past weekend we had some pretty big time commits, and currently, as it stands right now, the #1 transfer portal recruiting class. So we're thrilled.
Well, the athletic administration, as well as the coaching staffs of all the teams, they're giving you a lot to work with, not only from those things that you just mentioned, but the improvements to Davis Wade, an indoor practice facility for football, and all of this takes content to share with the fans. And it means that you and your team have won a ChangeMaker Innovation Award. Tell us about this achievement.
Yeah, there's a ton of exciting things happening in Mississippi State athletics right now, and that's a huge credit to the leadership of Zach Selman. You mentioned Davis Wade Stadium. Davis Wade Stadium right now, I was seeing it the other day, installing the new LED lights. That's massive from a fan experience engagement standpoint. Zach talks all the time about the driveway to driveway experience, in terms of getting people to come and have a great experience in our venue. We're battling constantly with television, right? Television is a key partner, for us, but we have to make sure that we have positioned ourselves to provide our fans the best experience possible when they come into all of our venues. We were one of the only schools in the conference that did not have those LED lights, and that's something that as people go on the road and see other schools, like they see that's an engaging element as part of a game day. So we're really excited about that. We're really excited to add that as part of our game day operations and traditions. And then overall, as far as facilities go, we have the indoor practice facility. We were the only school in the SEC that did not have an indoor practice facility. The Howard family, Howard Industries, Mr. Billy W. Howard Sr., who's a beloved alum, multi-sport athlete here at Mississippi State, they provided a trailblazing gift to help make that vision a reality. That facility is going to impact our student athletes in our football program so much.
Brandon, I appreciate your time. We're out of time, unfortunately, though, but thank you for sharing all of your insights here. There is so much going on, and I know the audience can tune in and find out a lot more, so thank you for being our guest. We really appreciate it, and we thank you for watching, and we hope you'll join us next time here on Communication Connection. I'm Terry Likes.